Yo, everybody, welcome back to the Animeister channel. My name is Logan, and we're here for another chapter review of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 121, the Shibuya Incident, part 39. In the last chapter, we had a devastating loss of Nanami. Rest in peace. This chapter, we finally get some catharsis for Nanami's death. We have Itadori taking on Mahito. Finally, Itadori gets to come back after this rival, this man who's tormented him and teased him for not being strong enough to defeat his soul-manipulated monsters. We finally get to see them battle it out now that they're at a much higher power level. So, Mahito starts it out by throwing his soul-manipulated compressed little dolls at Itadori to try to get him to attack. So, we have Soul Multiplicity where he's merging, Soul Multiplicity is merging two souls together and then using Body Repel to shoot one of them out at Itadori very viciously in a mouth. Of course, he merges into the mouth and tries to attack Itadori that way, manages to scratch him directly on his face, and we keep moving forward to where Mahito just continues to just berate Itadori, trying to get into his head, trying to throw him off his game, but Itadori's not having any of it. He is solely, and I mean completely dedicated to avenging Nanami, to making sure that Mahito is finally exorcised and Nanami can not die in vain. We get to see we also get to see Mahito's thoughts for most of this fight. We don't see a lot of Itadori's, which I think is kind of cool. Get to see the opposing force opposed to the more aggressive Itadori in this case. Also, something that I personally enjoy with this whole chapter is the fact that Itadori keeps a level head throughout the entire fight, pretty much. We don't see him rage out. We don't see him start crying and breaking down. We see him with complete determination to exorcise Mahito through the entire fight. And of course, we keep going, and Mahito is planning so viciously to just pierce through Itadori's heart, but we get my personal favorite panel in the entirety of this chapter. You see Itadori disappear from Mahito's view and just wham! Hit him right in the face. It's a perfect kick. It is an absolutely devastating Manji kick, and he gets a couple more hits in on Mahito, and then that's where the chapter ends. Now, I cannot wait to see Itadori properly use Divergent Fist, as well as, the name's escaping me, but I can't wait to see Itadori use that against Mahito properly, because that will destroy his soul, because we've seen how devastating those attacks are on other curses so far. Mahito as well, I'm really curious to see what will happen. Will he start turning himself into different animals? We saw that his arm was transformed into a vine with a bunch of spikes on it. Will he turn into birds and mice to try to escape Itadori and move around him? As we saw with the fight with Mekamaru, he can turn himself completely into different animals if he wants to. It just changes the shape of his soul. He was a bird flying around Mekamaru in that one fight. I wonder if he'll try to morph into something smaller. I think the only reason Mahito was able to pull those off, though, in the fight with Mekamaru is because they were in such a wide space, and there was also so much time for him to transform. In this Itadori fight, Itadori is extremely fast and hyper-aware of everything that Mahito's doing, so it'll be really interesting to see whether or not he is able to keep up with him, or to see whether or not Mahito is fast enough to transform into different objects before Itadori can get to him. It'll be really interesting to see if anyone else does come and does find the fight between Itadori and Mahito and decides to jump in and assist Itadori in this fight. I wonder if we'll have any cutaways to any other fights that'll be going on. Will Sukuna reappear to just devour Mahito? Who knows? That'd actually be a really interesting thing, to see Sukuna appear and then battle Mahito if Itadori can't handle it. But I think the direction that we might be going in is that Itadori is going to take on Mahito by himself and defeat him, because he was the first big adversary that Itadori ever faced. There was that whole arc where Mahito was emerging and brainwashing this kid. So I think this is a redemption arc for Itadori, where he finally gets to exercise the curse that got away and make sure that Mahito is finally dealt with, or if not completely exorcised, completely handicapped and crippled for the remainder of the Shibuya incident. so that way they can get back Gojo and make sure everything isn't destroyed and the curses don't take over the world. Overall, this chapter was really nice. I still wish they were a bit longer. They've been really short, only like 19 pages these past little while, but it's still good. There's still enough content in them where I love just reading every single chapter that's coming out. I can't wait to see next week's, especially with the continuation of this fight. Can't wait to see if there's any more double panels. That double panel we got this week with the giant mouth attacking Itadori was awesome, as well as the full page art panel where we got Itadori kicking Mahito in the face. That was so cathartic. I loved seeing Itadori get a proper hit on Mahito. So that way he can really be put in his place. Mahito is so very overconfident every single time he's fighting. He thinks he is perfection. Well, that's indicated by his domain expansion. Well, I think that's it for this week's chapter review. Come back if you like some more. There'll be another one up next week with the new chapter. It's been awesome talking about this with you guys.